Our next witness is Mr. Lawrence Swanson. He is the Director of Action House Incorporated, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Action House empowers people to build more secure and self-sufficient lives through the provisions of decent, affordable housing, essential support services and asset building programs, and education and employment opportunities. Mr. Swanson has been in Action House since 1979.
Chairwoman McCarthy, Ranking Member Platts of Pennsylvania, and other members of the committee, and I'd like to mention that we serve under the weatherization program I'm going to talk about, part of Jason Altmeier's district, who I believe is also a member of the committee. So I'm one of his constituents in that matter. I want to thank the committee for giving me the opportunity to testify about something that's very important to us at Action Housing. My remarks today represent both Action Housing, which is a regional nonprofit housing provider and the single largest provider of weatherization services in the state of Pennsylvania as a nonprofit, and the Weatherization Task Force. The Weatherization Task Force is the 42 nonprofit and public agencies in Pennsylvania who deliver energy conservation services and crisis emergency no-heat services every year in Pennsylvania. This is a hugely important program for us. My organization has been doing weatherization for 25 years. We have done about $50 million worth of weatherization improvements in the city of Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and Washington and Greene counties, which we also serve. Why is a nonprofit in housing so heavily engaged in energy conservation? The answer is simple. Our mission is to help people create safe and secure, affordable housing. Other than the cost of rent or a mortgage, the single largest component is the utility cost that they face, including heating and cooling. So we have long been engaged in this. I've come here to support the continuation of the option for using LIHEAP funds for weatherization and encourage it, as well as the expansion of the program. In Pennsylvania, we use LIHEAP funds both to do the traditional conservation measures, but also to implement a crisis no-heat situation throughout the state. Last year, $27 million was used in LIHEAP in Pennsylvania, the Energy Conservation Program. The Energy Conservation Program is essentially a program that is involved in a technical evaluation of air infiltration, the heat, the air that we either heat or cool in our environments, and that's the principal measure. The emergency no-heat situation is a program that individuals who apply for LIHEAP cash assistance are given an opportunity to declare a no-heat situation, and if they have one, they are immediately referred directly to the state weatherization services, who within 48 hours have to intervene to determine whether it's a valid situation and intervene. Last year, 5,353 customers received that assistance in Pennsylvania. The weatherization work that we do, based on the task force's own analysis of our own performance, achieves conservation savings of 15 to 35%. That amounts to $323 to $763 per household in our state, and it exceeds the one-time benefit of cash assistance. Why is there so much variation in what is saved? Well, Pennsylvania has a largely older housing stock. Our ability to intervene and provide the area infiltration measures varies tremendously depending upon the housing stock that we start with. Another factor is the quality of the heating equipment that we're dealing with. In other parts of the country, it's a combination of heating and cooling, and in the southern parts of our country, it's the cooling that is the primary factor. Much of our heating equipment in housing that is more than 15 years old was designed for 50 and 60% efficiencies and operates well below 50%. The equipment that we're installing operates at 85 and 90% efficiencies. And in Pennsylvania, we go back and do an annual service for a couple years afterward, and some of our customers stay with us for the long term. Why is it important to Pennsylvania? Last year was an exceptional year, but most years, $15 to $18 million, the full 15% allotted, is used for the conservation and the crisis intervention program. We serve 4,000 to 5,000 customers a year out of the LIHEAP portion and then combine it with funds provided by the Department of Energy to make a difference. Many of the services that are provided on the emergency basis are minor in nature, but allow the restoration of heat. The program begins this year. It began on November 5th. In our first week of operation, we had 118 referrals at my agency alone to intervene in situations with no heat. In my remaining time, I want to talk about the importance of LIHEAP funds to our system. We are able to build a larger scale operation in our 42 agencies and respond to in a cost-effective manner. In 2004, my agency joined with Allegheny County in its efforts to restore heat to 650 households that were without service due to the impact of Hurricane Ivan that occurred in late September. In a 45-day period, based on the capacity that we had in place, because we had the crisis funds to continue to do work, we were able to restore heat in 650 households in Allegheny County by the middle of December. This year, we had a small but significant for those infected flood situation where 100 families in Congressman Altmeier's North Hills district were essentially without heat. Today, we are working with Allegheny County to provide heat for those households without heat, below 150% of poverty, and then using foundation and charitable support for those above that to get people back in their homes. Thank you very much.